What is going on, everybody? My name is Baloo and welcome to the jungle. This is the channel where we take a very simple approach to technical analysis. We look at the price in the context of volume using the Wyckoff method. If that is something that interests you, then why don't you hit the subscribe button? I do this every single day, except for the days that I don't. So in today's video, just want to take a look at what is going on with REN, R-E-N. This is kind of I guess an Oracle project. You know, I'm not exactly sure. I am definitely an analyst. I'm not much on the fundamentals, but this is a protocol that is, from my understanding, or at least from my experience experimenting with some of the different DeFi projects, this is a tool, this is a coin that wraps Bitcoin so that we can incorporate the value of Bitcoin into smart contracts, into decentralized exchanges for the purposes of DeFi. So it's definitely a coin that has a value proposition attached to it. So let's go ahead and see what it is looking like from a technical aspect. So we have this this very long accumulation phase, and then we had a nice markup, and then right here we have the change of character. Change of character is where we begin our analysis with Wyckoff, and it looked like it ended at a double top, so we did get a distribution. I'm not going to go ahead and break down the distribution right now because we can see on the macro that we are in a distribution. We are on the daily here, so let's just get a little bit zoomed in here, and let's go ahead and take a look at what has happened since the markdown event from that local distribution. So what this is looking like to me is a reaccumulation after a decline. This is a very typical schematic. I would be happy to share lots of these different Wyckoff schematics in my Discord. I've curated a ton of free material, a ton of free PDFs, a ton of free visuals for you to really try and understand this method of analysis, which I have found a lot of success in. So free Discord in the link in the description. Follow the link in the description to gain access to that today. Let's zoom in a little bit. Actually, I don't think that the 4 hour is zoomed in enough. Let's go to the 8 hour. It's another benefit of Wyckoff is you don't need to worry about the time frame so much because you're not looking at stochastic crosses, you're not looking at MACD crosses or any moving averages. You're just looking at the price and volume, and that is the same on all time frames, just in different resolutions. So let's go ahead and throw a range. This is obviously the area of interest here. This right here is the area of interest. So let's throw a trading range on there and see what we can see. We can assume that maybe this is the seller's climax. So let's just see what we can fit here. You're just kind of moving it around to get stuff that fits well. I do have a tendency to try and make assets fit earlier on in the trading range. The earlier trading range to me has more validity. But let's go ahead and just see what we can see. And if I can't really fit it, sometimes I'll just do it flat. Let's go with that. Yeah. I'll bring that up to the automatic reaction here. So you can see here the wick to the downside is the seller's climax, and then the wick to the upside is the automatic reaction. We came down from a markup. This was the climactic action. This was, you can see that was the climax based on the volume here. So climax here. Then we had a move up. That is not on super high volume, but you know, you can see the volume throughout was not exactly high either. So, you know, the automatic reaction is just that. It is the rally, or sorry, the automatic rally is the rally that occurs after the seller's climax. So wherever the rally goes to is the top of the range. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. So that is phase A. Phase A, boom. Now from phase A, we did get a little bit of a test up here that did result in a minor sign of weakness, but this early in phase A, or sorry, this early in phase B, I just call this a shakeout. It's just a minor shakeout. Minor shakeout. Okay, we got a test of the supply here, and another test here, breaking the range a little bit, but the demand is coming in. You know, this is the demand line, this is the supply line. So every time we're testing one of those, we're taking a look at what is going on. The demand is coming in, demand, demand. So things are happening. There's buyers stepping in at those levels. That was enough of a confirmation to get a sign of strength here. Sign of strength slash upthrust. It's an upthrust action. So it's still a little early in the trading range. You don't typically, you would have potentially placed a trade on the backup, but the backup failed. So, your stop loss allowed you to exit the trade. And then we did get a little bit of a curling over here and a retest. Now, the test of the demand here is actually falling on low volume. Oops. Zoom out there. It's actually falling on low volume. So now we're seeing that, the demand proposition here. So there's no sellers and there's no buyers. It's kind of neutral. I think the market has come to an agreement that this is a floor. The holders are holding and the sellers aren't selling. We're basically neutral based on the volume signature here. Then the demand starts to come in. We did get a little bit of a move to the upside. Weren't able to break through for a sign of strength. Got another accumulation range right here that broke through on a sign of strength. That was met with a rejection. This was, what was that, November? Yeah, that was Bitcoin. Bitcoin rules the space. When Bitcoin moves, the entire market moves. And it just kind of carries on after that point. So we were moving up, kind of got a little bit of a move down from Bitcoin and continued moving up. Now, what's concerning is we do have this formation kind of curling over and we're hitting lower levels. So right now, inside of REN, at least in terms of the USD value, it's looking as though it's a no trade scenario. So what we're looking for is a commitment to the upside or a failure to the downside. So what a commitment to the upside might look like is we might get one more test, a sign of strength, and then a backup. If we get a successful backup, meaning that it holds the top of the trading range and then begin to mark up from there, I would feel that it is safe to assume that we are entering a markup phase and that there's going to be some appreciation in the value of REN. Now, the bearish scenario of failure to the downside is going to be a lot of this rounding over and failure, rounding over and failure, rounding over and failure. So if this price continues to round around the mean here and we get a sign of weakness, it's time to consider shorting or at least exiting some of the position. Don't exit at the sign of weakness. You always get a little bit of a recovery, so you can recover some of those losses at the LPSY. But right now, it's a no trend scenario. The volume is contracting. The price spread is contracting. These are characteristics of accumulation. It would make sense to me that given the utility of REN, that there would be institutional interests and whales accumulating REN in the background. So there is a case, there's a bullish case to be made for this. The only way that this project would be destroyed is if we figured out a way to actually implement cross-chain communication, and Bitcoin would be able to be on decentralized exchanges without the purposes of, or without the need to wrap the value of Bitcoin into an ERC20 token. So right now, it's a no trade scenario for me. If you're holding, it's not a sell signal, it's not a buy signal. But I'm not going to tell you what to do with your trades or investments. It's entirely up to you and what your tolerances are. There is potential to head down to the lower end of the range, which from this level right here would be, there we go. We're looking at a 20% loss just to get to the bottom of the range. So it's entirely up to you what you do with your trades and investments. But it's a no trade scenario right now. I'm going to be keeping an eye. And if I was to have a bias, I would say that we're probably going to begin to mark up, get that sign of strength, get that back up, just because, I do feel as though the market is bullish. I do feel as though the fundamentals are there. The demand is there. There is a need, there is a use for REN. So it would not surprise me to see some sort of sign of strength come in, followed by a backup, and then investors coming in for the markup. That is all the time I have for today. If you enjoyed the content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And if there are any coins that you would like me to take a look at, leave them in the comment section down below. And until next time, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.